Welcome to Deconstructed, the show where we take a look at an older list and break it down entry by entry to see why things placed where they did. This is a very special episode of Deconstructed. We're going to be taking a look at the E3 predictions of 2018. Let's take a look at our ranking. Those are some great picks. As you can probably guess, I am not Dan. Dan is at E3 right now. I'm Justin, and I'm joined with a lovely crew. We got Dave and Andrew, and we're gonna take a look at these entries. Let's do it. A battle royale of battle royales. We predicted basically that E3, based on the successes of both Fortnite and PUBG, would be completely inundated with new battle royale games to flood the marketplace.
And we were, well, two things. One, we were mostly right, but it was kind of obvious, and that's why we put it at 10.
Right.
And Dave, I remember you fighting so hard against this being on the list. It was a fight to get you to let us put this on the list.
I thought it was a very weird idea. I didn't quite understand what you guys were saying. I thought you were just saying, oh, well, let's put more Battle Royale stuff. I kind of got the idea that there would be some companies out there who think, okay, no, Battle Royale is a good idea, but I did concede at the end that was the case. But I think some companies kind of got the idea from the very first announcement. The very first announcement was Battlefield. They announced that Battlefield was getting a Royale mode. They got booed.
Yeah.
They got booed on stage.
To compete with, of course, Call of Duty Black Ops 4
Yeah.
announced before E3 that they too would be introducing a battle royale.
Yeah, so
mode.
I get the idea that once every other game company saw that, it was like, okay, let's take out Battle Royale mentions,
That's really funny.
Interesting.
But we did get a couple of other ones. There was one in Microsoft's press conference called Island of Nine, which was just briefly mentioned. During the PC gaming show, we got another game called Maverick's Proving Grounds, which is 1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Battle
almost
Royale.
like not a. I mean, it's a battle royale, but at what point? Like I have enough trouble getting a chicken dinner when there's 25 teams of 4, and I'm like on the backs of my much better friends.
Okay,
How
why?
big is the map going to have to be to support that many players? I'll be curious to see what their strategy is going forward. It's a bold claim.
It's a very bold claim.
Yeah.
And the last one, of course, was Fortnite on Switch, but
right, which
that was like the worst kept secret in the world.
basically, yeah, it was bound to happen. We did in our entry mention that we thought the Division 2 would be a prime
I
suspect.
still think that's coming. I think
Interesting.
that might have been one that they redacted. We're like, ooh, this got booed. Because I still think that's.
And I also feel like that's the same with Fallout 76, because I thought they were going to mention that at one point while Todd Howard was on stage, but didn't quite get there, and I think that's why.
So this was a mixed bag, but ultimately we kind of got this one right on the head.
Pretty much, yeah. Four is a good number.
Let's take a look at our next entry. So this one, not so much.
Womp womp.
And it's too bad too, because this sounds pretty great. I mean, a new Jak and Daxter game for PS4.
This is the Naughty Dog one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I kind of felt like it was kind of timed, like, because Sony's been bringing back a lot of their old IPs. They've
Right.
got Crash Bandicoot, they got Spyro. I think Medieval is coming back
Yes.
as well. Then they also had the Ratchet and Clank reboot, God of War reboot, and also the Shadow of the Colossus remake. It was either between this or Sly Cooper, and they didn't go with either.
Yeah, I think this is still a possibility for the future. Maybe something they announce at PSX or something that's more dedicated to PlayStation fandom.
Yeah,
But
well, their press conference was very light this year, I felt. Like,
well, they came out and said we were going to focus on the games that we knew were going to come out either this year or in the near future. Last of Us, Spider-Man. We got a really good look at those.
Yeah.
And it was kind of light on the surprises, but because we got such an extended look at these great games that are going to be coming out for the system, it kind of excused the lack of surprise, I guess you could say.
I will say with The Last of Us though, like when I was watching the gameplay, it looks so heavily choreographed. As like it looks too good to be like organic gameplay.
I remember people saying the same thing about when they showed the first game at E3, and there was that sequence with Ellie throwing the brick at the guy's head, and people were saying, "Oh, how authentic is that? How often in the game is that really going to happen?"
Yeah, so
organically?
if they can pull that off here, I'm going to be very surprised. But yeah, that's going to be like it's a bit too good to be true. Like the way Ellie just grabbed a brick and immediately threw it, like the animation was so seamless. It's like that.
And the way she reacted to being shot, it was just very, very good looking, and that makes me skeptical. Just having seen so many E3s in the past. Andrew, what do you think about Sony's press conference in general?
I mean, there's sort of the opposite of Microsoft, where Sony we already knew had all of these big things coming in 2018, and like you said, they're
2019 now.
2018, 2019. So they're just sort of showing more of the stuff we already knew was coming, whereas Microsoft was the opposite, where they're like, they didn't really have anything to they had a lot of stuff to announce, but nothing to really show from what they announced.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, some cinematic trailers mixed in with like a little bit of gameplay with Gears 5. Nothing from the new Halo besides that it exists.
Well, we'll get to that later.
So maybe it's like we're leapfrogging right now between the two. Like Sony's got a bunch of games coming out, then they're going to have a lull, and Microsoft will have a bunch coming out.
Yeah, and listen, we'll get to something you mentioned right now. We predicted Halo 6. We ended up with Halo Infinite.
Close enough.
Close enough. This is basically, for all intents and purposes, Halo 6.
But we don't really, all we know is that it exists, which we already kind of knew already.
Yeah, it was pretty much a guarantee that we would see Halo again.
Yeah. And it may as well be Halo 6 since it's got Master Chief in it.
Yeah, we got Master Chief. What do you think about the title? To me, it kind of reads as Halo is going into the games as service world, into the constant replayability, constant updates and DLC and stuff like that. Kind of the way that all multiplayer games are
like
going.
Division,
Right now.
like Division, like it'll
Destiny.
be like Division.
Yeah, that's what I was
Destiny,
thinking.
Yeah.
So like,
Anthem.
because I remember it's like when I watched the trailer, there was a show there. You had like four soldiers like there one another, which kind of gives me the idea it's going to be 4-player co-op, which Microsoft seems to have an interest in right now because everything seems to be 4-player co-op. State of Decay 2 had 4-player co-op. Sea of Thieves had 4-player co-op. Halo 5 had 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
Even the new No Man's Sky, the front cover has 4-player co-op.
So
Yeah,
I
I like co-op, but the fact that it's coming on PC made me hope that it was just going to be like a nice, solid, good Halo game, not like something.
I don't think that necessarily the servicey aspects of it would make it not good. I just think in the world in which everything is coming out as a game as service, why not Halo? Halo has always had a vibrant multiplayer community. It's finally going to be like, I guess, simultaneously releasing
Well,
on the
the thing
PC?
is, like with Destiny was developed by Bungie, who originally created the Halo series.
course.
So it's kind of going to be just like Destiny, just with a Halo skin. So it's like very, very weird.
Instead of 3-man strike teams, we get 4-player co-op in Halo. And I think that could be really fun. I look forward to tackling whatever, maybe raids in Halo. Maybe that's getting too ahead of ourselves. But I like the idea of Halo multiplayer kind of becoming more long-running and infinite in a way, you could say.
I'm not sold, but we'll see.
We will see. On to the next. So our prediction was that at E3 we would get to see a look at the new upcoming Pokemon RPG for Switch. A few days, maybe a week before E3, we got a pretty long trailer about Pokemon Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, which isn't the Pokemon RPG for Switch that
No,
we
this is
were
like
expecting.
a spin-off.
Yeah, it's kind of a holdover, a little meal in between what everyone really wants. But this kind of looks cool. I mean,
It does, yeah.
Integration with Pokemon
If you're a
Go.
Pokemon fan.
If you're a Pokemon
like this
fan,
isn't going to get non-Pokemon fans on board.
I don't think they need to anymore, though. I mean, there's so many people that live and breathe this series.
From what I can tell, it's more of one of those games that's designed to appeal to those who played Pokemon when it first came out, which is a lot of people, but don't necessarily follow the series anymore. Because with I think they're trying to catch the initial Pokemon Go crowd. That's what I think they're doing.
Trying to catch the initial Pokemon.
Nice.
Pretty much, yeah.
Very
The
nice.
thing is, like, I was a huge fan of Pokemon Red and Blue on the old Game Boy.
And that's where they're going. They're going
But
to
it-
the
but-
region of Red and Blue.
That's exactly. I don't give a shit about that. What I want is like a Breath of the Wild or a Mario Odyssey. Like I want a big AAA, expensive,
Yes, I agree.
gorgeous-looking Pokemon game in a big open world.
That's what I think.
And that's not what this is.
That's why
So I
I
don't
feel like
care.
they put this as a placeholder because it's going to take a lot of time to put together.
It must feel really bad to be the guy who designs Pokemon in 2018, and there's like 700, 800 Pokemon, but every time they release something new, it's just like, it's the original 150. The guy's just like, come on, man. I designed 600 new
Yeah,
ones.
look how cool Chandelure is. Don't you give a shit about Chandelure?
I turned a sword into a
Klefki.
Pokemon, and you
Yeah.
guys are still talking about
Yeah.
Pikachu. Come
about
on.
the good one.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, I mean, look, if you're into Pokemon, you don't need us to tell you why this game is interesting. It isn't exactly what we thought, but nonetheless, it's a Pokemon RPG on Switch, so
We are
I'm
getting a
not
lot more
knocking it.
Pokemon
I
on-
just don't care.
We are getting a lot
But
more
I'm not
Pokemon in
knocking it.
Smash, though.
that's true. Yeah, Pokemon Trainer's back.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff in Smash. for
Yeah,
sure.
Dave was watching it live a couple hours ago, and he flipped. in the whole office, and he started telling like our director, who doesn't give a shit. You know, it was good.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I'm excited too.
On that note, on to the next entry. This one actually caught me off guard. I really hoped this would happen, and they kind of talked about there's going to be Death Stranding at Sony, but I didn't think we'd actually get to see the game. I thought it would be another like 20-minute movie.
It's a myth. Like, we still see Death Stranding as like something that's, you know, so far.
Yeah, ephemeral. It doesn't actually exist. The gameplay itself looks really interesting. Dave, what'd you think?
Well, there wasn't much of it. Like, they showed a lot of walking, and then there was a stealth section. It's like...
but they've showed that it's an actual game.
Yes.
It's a video game.
Yeah, it is a video game. We can confirm. You heard it here first, people.
Well, I was talking to my wife about this. It's kind of like a lot of these this horror style game with a lot of invisible enemies. I kind of feel like this was like the spiritual successor to PT that Kojima wanted to do.
Yeah.
And even then, it's still like one of the motifs of PT were these babies, and that's in PT as well. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. I think Death Stranding is pretty much a spiritual successor to Silent Hills.
But it
is Silent Hills.
But what it showed me, what I was kind of worried about, was it was just going to be Kojima making a Metal Gear Solid 5 in everything but name. A Metal Gear Solid game, just not called Metal Gear Solid, but he was going to make Metal Gear Solid 6, but it would be called something else. And this really showed that it's not that at all.
Well, they showed a lot, but they didn't show a lot, if that makes sense.
Well, they showed a lot for what we've seen.
From what we can gather about the game, it is about transporting boxes across beautiful landscapes and also using a shoulder-mounted invisible detector to move away from interdimensional ghosts. I don't know. But the thing that really gripped me more than the actual stealth gameplay was just how many shots of guys carrying boxes across places there were. And that leads me to believe that that's going to be a big chunk of the game. So I'm in. Like, I was in from the moment this was announced. I just wonder how fun transporting boxes can actually be. And you see that there is like the possibility of failure. The guy's walking through the river and just his box explodes. So I don't know, man. Looks crazy.
Hideo Kojima is a psychotic genius.
He is I can totally get on board with that. On to the next entry, guys. Nope.
Bloodborne 2? Oh, nope. Man, I was so... Okay, again, because I'm a PC gamer and I just don't too lazy to buy the consoles because I know I'm never going to play them anyway. I was so happy that this wasn't Bloodborne 2. Not because I don't like Bloodborne 2, but I'm such a huge fan of Dark Souls. And it kills me that I can't play the best one on my computer. So I was so happy that this wasn't... Shut up. Go kill yourself. I was so happy that this wasn't Bloodborne 2. I'm sorry for everybody who wanted it to be Bloodborne 2.
Well, look.
I'm so happy it wasn't.
The game in question that was announced is called Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. We knew that that was part of the motif from the initial Game Awards trailer.
Yeah, the teaser said that. We weren't sure if that was going to be the name or a subtitle or whatever.
It looks really different from a lot of the other From Software games.
Different but the same.
Different but the same. I mean, in terms of like the amount of movement that's possible, the speed of the combat.
It's like if Bloodborne was a spin-off of Dark Souls and changed it enough to make it a different franchise.
Right.
This is now sort of a spin-off of Bloodborne, where it's going to be a bit faster, have a bigger move set, really mix up. I'm so excited.
I think that game was called Neo.
Yeah, okay, but Neo, here's the thing though. Only From Software can make a Souls-like game because there's so many elements to it that have to be done really, really well. You can't make a Dark Souls game and have the enemies be not very good or repetitive, or you can't have everything to make a Dark Souls game. Everything has to be top shelf. You know, the level design, the enemies, the story or lack of story, you know, the combat has to be really, everything has to be. And From Software are the only people who can do that. So I'm just excited to see a new Souls-like From Software game.
Well, Neo 2 has been announced, so, I mean, a lot of people will probably disagree with you, but I kind of see where you're coming from.
Neo's not bad.
Right.
Neo 1 wasn't bad, but it's not a From Software game. Exactly.
That's fair.
Okay. All right.
I think there's a lot of reasons to be excited for this. I think there's a lot of reasons to be disappointed because people love Bloodborne, and it's been a while, and people want to see a sequel, but they're going to have to keep waiting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our next entry, guys. A new Star Wars game.
Well, we said games, but we got one.
We said games. They kind of announced one. It was kind of a weird announcement, let's be honest.
It was like very awkward. Like he was just there sitting there very, very awkwardly. It's like, yeah,
Well,
we're
like he
making...
didn't know how people were going to take it.
Yeah.
Because people are kind of Star Wars.
It's Star Wars,
and It
man.
didn't take long.
Have some enthusiasm.
And it's like you come here without a trailer, without any gameplay, and you say, oh, we're making a game. It has Jedis in it. You can play as Jedi. So you can play as Jedi in many other Star Wars games.
Yes, it's a fair point. I mean, E3, as much as we come away talking often about the big cinematic trailers and the long gameplay demos, we're pretty used to seeing like just a logo with some music and that's it. Metroid Prime 4 last year, Battletoads comes to mind from this year. Yep. We didn't even get that. They have a title. Why not just animate a logo? I don't know. It just felt weird to be like, our announcement will be taking place from the front row of the presentation. It's just a weird way to drop information.
What they were
Especially
thinking.
for Star Wars, which is kind of, we're used to big announcements.
Yeah.
And it gives you an idea. It's like they spent more time with Battlefield 2, which is already out and was slammed hard, than they did with this game.
Yeah. I mean, look, EA's reputation with the Star Wars IP right now isn't the best, but you'd think that they'd want to win some fans over.
Such an understatement.
That's fair, yeah.
I mean, Respawn's making it. Titanfall
Respawn's
2 is a very good game.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of reasons to get excited for a game being handled by them. And it seems like, I was about to say it, but I'm nervous to say it. EA learned their lesson? Is it possible? Could it be?
No, Command & Conquer Rivals.
Yeah, but that's bad for a different reason. I'm talking specifically about adding in microtransactions and pay-to-win systems and stuff like that. I think in that regard, we may be safe for this one. Let's check back 2 years and see what happens. Because obviously this is in pre-production. We're not going to see this game for a long time. So yeah, remains to be seen. Let's talk about some more games. Our prediction was for multiple rare games, and we got one major
I don't think we
rebirth.
Specifically mentioned. I don't think we can really take credit for this. Though. I don't think we specifically mentioned Battletoads. Like we made that graphic today.
We did. No, there was mention.
There was
Did we mention
Battletoads
Battletoads?
gameplay in the video. We did put Battletoads footage in there.
Okay.
It wasn't the centerpiece. I will admit. It wasn't like we were saying there's gonna be a Battletoads remake, but I think it was safe to assume I should say that there would be some kind of revival, just based on the fact that
everything Rare has.
Xbox kind of needs.
Yeah, like I would have thought they would have done more with Rare because like you saw the Rare logo throughout the press conference when they were flashing all their developers.
Right.
So I was thinking they were going to have something with Rare.
Yeah, and
Like we got Battletoads,
Yeah.
and I was hoping they were going to do something similar to what they did with Killer Instinct, which is being developed by Double Helix and still being developed. So I was hoping for something like that. I was kind of hoping for something like that with something, say, like Perfect Dark or Banjo-Kazooie. Battletoads is good. They didn't show any footage.
No, like
though.
what does a modern Battletoads game look like? Is it going to be just a nice-looking side-scrolling beat-em-up? Or is it going to be like Dark Souls, but with the toads?
That's interesting.
That's going to be very, very interesting.
It won't be.
I like to see that version of the
I would
game.
love that version,
Yeah,
but
that'd be
it's
amazing.
not going to be.
But yeah, I mean,
It's just going to be a side-scrolling beat-em-up with like pretty retro graphics.
That's
and
what
Or
it's
it
gonna
could be
cost
it could be
$20.
like a hack and slash, like Bayonetta or something like that. I feel like that would also suit the style as well.
the sky's the limit. The only thing it needs is toads and to be hard, right? I mean,
And toads that can change their body anatomy.
there you go. I think the bar is going to be pretty high. People really like Battletoads. People are going to have high expectations, but I'm excited. I could get down with some toads, you know? But yeah, we seem to have gotten this one right. Let's see about the rest of the list. 5 years.
No gameplay yet.
No
damn it.
gameplay, but it's been 5 years.
But at least the trailer showed what I believe is what they're hinting at with gameplay, like that there's going to be driving.
Yeah.
You know, that there's going to be guns.
Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee you that there's going to be guns.
Never have I been so disappointed but so excited by a trailer at the same time, because I was like, it looked cool and it got me really stoked and I'm super excited to play this game.
But the style looks different, yeah.
That's what I was going to say. The thing that really got me excited about this game was how wildly different aesthetically it was from the previous.
You mean from the old teaser?
Yeah,
or
from the
this one?
teaser, the teaser that we got like 5 years ago, which was very like dark and kind of Blade Runner-y.
Yeah.
This was like 80s inspired. I mean, you can see it just from the like still that we've grabbed. It's really fun. It seems more
But it's not going to be like a
vibrant.
goofy game.
No, not to say that
definitely
it's
not.
not to say that it's goofy. Just that it has a sense of humor, it seems like the way that certain things were animated, the guy eating the ramen and the people pull the gun on him. Like there just seemed to be a lot of personality in the game, which to be expected because it's CD Projekt Red. The Witcher has plenty of personality. As gritty as those trailers are, once you actually start playing the game and you see what Dandelion is wearing, you're like, oh, this game doesn't take itself too seriously.
Like Geralt is actually super sassy.
Yeah, he is a very sassy boy. But I really think that this is going to be a fantastic game. I can't wait.
But it sucks we didn't get any gameplay, so our prediction is wrong. But that was more hopeful than it was a legit prediction.
They might show stuff on the show floor.
It's entirely possible.
We'll never know. We're not there.
Yeah, I can't wait for this game.
Yeah.
Let's see the last prediction. So in the entry, this is actually a double confirmed. In the entry, we briefly mentioned, oh yeah, we might also see Starfield. But the main thing that we wanted to see was just a tease, a little soupçon of an Elder Scrolls.
We were so scared that it didn't exist, that Bethesda was like, oh, we're not going to go back to single player games, which luckily they are.
Yay!
Yay! I'm so excited. But also, we said Akavir, which is a continent outside of Tamriel, which is where most of the games, or all of the games rather, have been set. People online can't really seem to agree. I mean, I can't blame them. There's about 2 seconds of footage. But the going theories right now is that it's either High Rock, which is the home of the Red Guards, or what's the other one? Hammerfell, which is the home of the Bretons.
Yeah.
No, Hammerfell is the Red Guards.
Yeah.
I mixed it up.
High Rock is the Bretons.
I'm still holding by the fact that it's probably Akavir, and the main reason why is because of Elder Scrolls Online. Because like a lot of the stuff in Tamriel has now been explored in Elder Scrolls Online, and I think they're going to definitely be exploring a lot more of it as more and more expansions come up leading up to this. So I feel like they're saving the rest of Tamriel for Online, and they're taking Elder Scrolls 6 in probably a new direction. Kind of similar to what happened with God of War, because they took that to a Midgard world, and it worked very well.
Well, Akavir would, of course, mean new races, along with a new location.
Creative freedom.
Creative freedom, an opportunity to like mix up the formula, change it up a lot. I think this is like a ways away. Like we're nowhere near seeing
2022.
Probably around then.
Yeah, probably around.
Starfield, we still haven't seen anything, and that's going to come out likely before we ever see Elder Scrolls 6. But 2 brand new games from Bethesda.
Well, they said they're in
Studios.
pre-production, which means like they're
very early stage. We didn't see anything from Starfield either. It's like
that sounds really cool.
It's far away.
I'm so excited for both of those, but I was sold on this way before they even announced it. I've been waiting for these announcements for a long time. So I'm a sucker for these games. They had me from the get-go. Those were our E3 2018 predictions. We did okay.
I think we did very well.
Yeah, we did okay.
Better than last year, I think.
After the show, what's your takeaways? What are some of the games that really stood out to you? Andrew, what do you think?
I wasn't really shocked or surprised by anything. I'm just now more excited by the things that I was already excited about. Cool. Like a new From Software game, Cyberpunk.
There was a lot of stuff that surprised me. The fact that they're getting every single character in Smash Bros. Is pretty amazing. The other thing that really shocked me was Ubisoft getting Star Fox.
Yeah, that was cool.
I was like, what? That's incredible.
Someone
but they've been working with Nintendo because they just did Raven.
They have. They were making their own
rabbits, whatever.
They were making their own space combat game, and it's like, hey, this is very Star Fox like the first time I saw it last year. I didn't expect them to actually put Star Fox in that game though.
Very cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah, for me it was actually the announcement of Starfield. Even though Elder Scrolls 6, I'm a big Elder Scrolls fan. Like I can't wait for that game to come out. But the idea of a new IP from Bethesda, like a new world for them to explore and kind of create from the ground up, I think that's a super, super interesting possibility, and I can't wait to see more about that game. So guys, that does it for us on this episode of Deconstructed, guys. Great job on these predictions. Super interesting stuff. Dan, if you're watching, I hope you got a sunburn because you're super lucky for getting to go to E3. And don't forget to subscribe to MojoPlays for a bunch of great gaming content. We're going to be covering a bunch of E3 stuff in the coming weeks. So, guys, without further ado, thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thanks for watching MojoPlays. Be sure to subscribe and click on the link in the description below to check out our suggestion page and vote on what content you'd like to see us cover next.